Matt, obviously it's the talking point. What was your reaction to the grand final announcement about it being held in Sydney over the past, for the next 3 years?
My personal reaction was there wasn't really any. It is what it is. It's not in our control, and we have a lot of football to be played, and we want to be competing to be even in that equation to be playing in a final. So we'll work hard on the pitch to put ourselves in a position to make the grand final, but there's no guarantees. So we need to focus on the football.
Do you know anything about it?
Disappointed for the fans when you think about the people packed here to watch the Socceroos, the local Melbourne fans. If you guys were to earn it, they wouldn't be able to go, or it'd be expensive for them to go.
Yeah, I think I understand the frustrations for the fans, but as I said, it's out of our control as players really, and it's not something we should be focusing on. As I said before, we have a long season ahead, and first and foremost we need to get ourselves in a position to even be talking about it. So the most important thing is to continue playing well and competing in the regular season to even get that opportunity to play in a grand final again.
Do you think players should have been consulted?
I think it's a tough ask to ask every single player. I think as I've heard, it's been a long process. It's been something I've spoken about behind the scenes in the past 12 months, and personally, no. I think, as I said, we're players. Our role is to play football and to achieve things on the field, not the off-field stuff.
Now, there was such a sort of golden vibe about Australian football and the Socceroos after what you guys did in Qatar. Does it feel like the way this is all maybe blown up and backfired has taken maybe the shine off what's been a really great week or two?
I don't think so. I think obviously everyone has their own opinion on the situation, and although people might be upset right now, completely understandable. But I think it's a completely different topic, which I'm hoping, or as I said when I first landed back in Australia, I'm hoping that what we achieved over there, inspires young kids to want to have a career in football, but also to grow the game, get people in the stadium, and just grow the game, because fans make football, and it's important to have an atmosphere on the field.
Marco, what was your reaction to the news?
I think. Yeah. I think Lex covered it pretty well. We can only focus on what we can, and that's playing and training and performing on the field. And the most important thing for us is the fans at the stadiums, because I think that increases our performance. And it's out of our control and out of our hands. So it's not much we can do about it as players. We just focus on getting to the grand final first.
And you said the most important thing is the fans in the stadiums. How do you feel as a player if there was a mass walkout during the game?
As I said, I can't control that. The fans obviously are frustrated, but for me as a player, I'll just go out there to perform, and I support our fans to hopefully stay there for the 90 minutes of the game, because we want them there for the full game, and hopefully can support the team, because the players, I think, are more important.
Marco, you played in a home grand final here in Melbourne. You had a very good game in that game. You had a big turnout of City fans there. Do you feel like you could actually replicate that if you had the same occasion in Sydney? Like it's expensive, it's hard for people to get up there. Would it be the same?
I don't know. I think it's a tough question to ask right now. As we were saying, our focus is to get to the grand final. We've got a lot of games up until then, and obviously the semi-finals will be at home. So we'll look when it comes to time to play in the semi-finals here at home, and then whatever the equation is after that, I think it's out of our hands again. So
Feels like the players, firstly with Qatar and then this decision, you guys don't get consulted a lot on things that you eventually have to answer a lot of questions about. Would you have liked to have been consulted on something like this?
For me personally, I don't think, being a young player, I don't really need to get involved with these type of decisions. I just work on what I can, and that's training and playing and trying to get in the team, to be honest. So I just focus on that, and I just control what I can control.
Well, following up on that, things in your control, Marco, obviously it's been a whirlwind couple of years for you. You backed yourself when you came down here and signed with Melbourne City, won a championship, got to a World Cup off the back of it. What are you backing yourself to do next after this World Cup? What are your goals for the months ahead?
first and foremost get in the starting 11 and then prove myself in that starting 11 to continue to play and hopefully have a good season and see where it can take me. Obviously I have ambitions to go overseas one day, so it's just all about performance and getting game time, so hopefully I can do that.
Were there any ever options to go overseas in the last off season, were there never any?
There has been interest over the past couple of years, but I think it's for me feeling the best time for me to go and when I'm ready to go, and obviously the right environment to go into. So there's a lot of factors before I make that decision. As I said, I'm still young, but I have ambitions to go, so we'll wait and see when the time comes.
Don't get on the blower with Patrick Kisnorbo over in France.
Who knows? Maybe if I'm lucky enough. But yeah, he's obviously doing well over there. After his friendly the other day, I think I drew 0-0. So yeah, as I said in the media before, good luck to him. He deserves the opportunity.
Parlez-vous français?
No idea.
And how about you, Matt? Do you still have aspirations to get back overseas? You've shown you can prove yourself on the world stage.
Sorry, can you ask again?
Obviously, prove yourself on the world stage again. Do you have aspirations to get back over to Europe?
I would never say no. I mean, right now I'm just enjoying my time here in Melbourne, at Melbourne City. You know, I really enjoyed last season, and it's a great group of guys. So, you know, I'm obviously contracted here for a year and a half longer, and I'm enjoying my time. So I'll never say no to the opportunity if it comes in the future. But right now, I'm enjoying my football.
Heading into a derby, they're always pretty fierce, pretty fiery. I know you guys are obviously coming off a disappointing result. What's the mentality been like going into this one?
Yeah, the derbies are always nice. I think the one we had earlier on in the season was a great atmosphere. I think it was a full house, and obviously we came off at the end of the game the winners. So they'll have revenge to want to win the game on the weekend, and we're still motivated to continue a good start. Obviously we had a bit of a hiccup last weekend, but it's just a few things we need to fix up, and as always I think it'll be a great game.
How are you feeling physically, Matt? You played a lot of football in Qatar, and Arnie's style of football isn't exactly light on running and efforts. You came back and then you started against Sydney. How are you feeling at the moment?
I feel pretty good. I think obviously I knew it was going to be tough over there with the experience I've had at previous World Cups, and I think I've put myself in a position where I'm able to deal with the intensity of games, and obviously a few bumps and bruises after games and sore legs, but the most important thing we focus on over there, and what I will focus on over here, is the recovery after games, and I'm feeling good. Obviously I played I think it was 7 minutes the other night, and coming off I still felt really good.
Does it feel a bit weird? You've been to previous World Cups, but then they're finished and you get a bit of a holiday and a chance to relax. Now you're straight back here, there's a derby this weekend, you're talking to us. Does it feel a bit different, a bit weird?
Yes and no. I mean, it's hard to really compare. Obviously, World Cups are 4 years apart, and you sort of forget the time. Not so much on the field. You obviously remember that sort of stuff, but the off-field stuff you don't really remember. You just take what's happening in the moment, and the mentality was always that we knew there was 6 games World Cup and then come back straight into it. So not really.
Sounds like Graham Arnold's going to get offered a new deal by the FA, or is heading in that direction. You obviously played a lot under him. What's your feelings on that? Would you like to see him go around again?
Yeah, of course. I think Arnie's a great coach. He's a great person. He's the main reason why we have such a good culture in the group. And although maybe over the few the last 6 months, there was a lot of negative talk about if he's the right man for the job. I think he proved that, and he deserves it. I guess it's up to him if he does take it, and we'll know what's the story in the near future.
Well, so just follow up on that. Like, after the Japan and Saudi Arabia games, there was talk that he was imminently about to be sacked. There was sources at FA telling journalists that he was about to be sacked. What was the mood in the camp at that point?
Yeah, well, obviously we weren't in the camp. It's not something we do where we all sit in a group chat and talk about those sort of things. It's all it's like anything with a player. Player's not playing well. There's a negative talk in the media, and it's always the case. It's what comes part and parcel of being a footballer or even a coach in football. So we always knew, although we had a rough patch there, that we still believe that we would qualify. And I think, as I said before, the group was so strong. Although we did it the hard way, and we still, achieved something special at the World Cup as well. So, bit of a, I think it was good to prove a lot of people wrong for Arnie's point of view, but also for the players, because although it doesn't really matter, or we don't really worry about what people say, it's important that we believe that within the camp.
Just Marco, sorry to make you guys swap again, but you obviously were handed your Socceroos debut by Arnie. I think most people will say you're one of those players that would likely play a big role in that next cycle, given you're such a young player. Would you like to see him be the one sort of steering you through it?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, he brought me in to the fold and gave me my debut for the Socceroos, and I can't thank him enough for that. And as Lex said, he's a tremendous coach, I think, in my opinion, and he proved that at the World Cup. And I would love to see him take the job.
Do you think that's important for that Olyroos contingent like yourself that he brought in, that he stays there for continuity? And Vidi's obviously now going to be coaching that team as well, to maintain that pathway that he's created?
I think it will help, yeah. With Vidi now as the Olyroos coach and Arnie being the senior coach, I think they can also work off each other and obviously evolve the team. There's been a lot of young players within the Socceroos around the recent years, and I think it's only going to help make the team better. And as for this World Cup campaign, I think a lot of players, if you look at the age, they've still got to go around again. So I think it'll only help for the future.
How much do you hope that momentum from the World Cup feeds into the season, the A-League season?
I think as a player, as we said before, the fans are the most important thing. There's fans at the game, it just picks you up to play the game. I hope all these fans that have turned out to all these big events to watch the games are able to come to the A-Leagues and watch us play, because there is quality in the league, and I think they've shown that at the World Cup. So hopefully they can come around to the games.
Arnie didn't like social media. How aware were you of the big crowd that turned out at the time?
We did obviously see the scenes back home, and I think that just gave more drive to the players and in the group. And obviously we're really happy that we're able to, I guess, bring the nation together, as we were saying. And I think that was the most important thing, and I think that's what made it even more successful as a team. So
one more before we're done. Can I start you one? Sorry. When you scored your goal, the scenes here were really wild. It's the middle of the night. You see the reaction on social media, not just in Melbourne but around Australia, in particular here at Fed Square, and what did that mean to you?
Yeah, definitely saw it. I think the message from Arnie about not reading or looking into too much social media was more the negative side of things, or what people expect. No doubt we were watching, the scenes that were coming here, and definitely in Fed Square as well. But I think for the Argentina game, it sort of became broader in all states. It was amazing. I think us as players, I said before, when we qualified in 2006 through to the round of 16, I was a young kid, a fan, and it was amazing. And now I'm in the shoes to be able to do that and inspire young kids to see something so special like that in such a at the world stage, to be inspired to work hard or even just play football. I think we have a lot of sports here in Australia, and unfortunately football's not number one, so it's moments like that can change, kids' opinions on what sport they want to, try to play, or try to grow up to be professional. So it was amazing. We actually used it as a drive for the Argentina game, showing all the footage of all the people back home just before we headed to the stadium, and it was a massive pump up for the boys.
Just Jamie not here today because he's ill. Going to be all right for the weekend?
I'm not a doctor, but I think he's just got a bit of a bug. So hopefully it's a 24-hour thing, and he'll be back in training.